Hello everyone, now let's talk about a powerful force in literature that often goes unnoticed but plays a huge role in how we access and enjoy global stories. It is the role of translation in world literature. So number one, making literature accessible to a global audience. So yes, translations are essential in world literature because they open the doors of diverse cultures to readers all over the world. So without translation, we would never be able to enjoy some of the greatest literary masterpieces that were originally written in different languages. So thanks to translators, the readers from all corners of the globe can enjoy works from Latin America, Europe, Asia, and beyond. So expanding our understanding of different cultures and experiences. So the number two, it is the challenge of translating the cultural nuances and idioms. So however, translation isn't just about converting words from one language to another. It is much deeper than that. One of the biggest challenges is translating cultural nuances and linguistic idioms. So some phrases or cultural references may not exist or make sense in another language. So for example, is a metaphor or saying that holds deep meaning in Japanese, and it might sound confusing or meaningless when it is translated into directly into English. Another is when we have in Filipino, we have a very meaningful to us, but when it is directly translated into English, it is not not giving. So this is where a translator skills really shine. So in finding creative and accurate ways to capture the spirit and tone of the original text, so while still making it understandable for a new audience. So let us look at some of the some famous translated works that have had a global impact. It is the 100 Years of Solitude by Garcia Marquez. Another is The Trial by Kafka and The Little Prince by Saint Exupéry. So the translation plays a vital role in connecting cultures, sharing stories, and building understanding across the world because it allows literature to cross borders and time periods. So it is helping the readers discover new perspective and common human experiences. So when you read the translated book, we should always remember that we are not just reading words, we are reading the careful and creative work of a translator who has brought a whole new world to life for us. As we move forward in our journey through the world of modern literature, another powerful and essential perspective we must highlight is the feminism. So the feminist perspective in modern literature. So the feminist literature plays a vital role in reflecting and challenging gender issues and advocating for the women's rights. So these works explore the lived experiences of women, examine social expectations, and often critique systems that have marginalized the female voices. So feminist literature doesn't just raise awareness, it demands change and invites readers of all genders to think critically about equality and justice. So the focus or themes that literary works often center around is the struggle women face in male-dominated societies, so the search for identity and autonomy. So it is also the gender roles, discrimination, and um, empowerment, and the intersection of race, class, and gender. So these narratives bring the female experiences to the forefront and help reshape how we understand society and literature. And now let us take a look at some of the influential feminist writers and their works. So it is Virginia Woolf, A Room of One's Own, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, We Should All Be Feminists, and Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale. So these authors, among many others, show us that feminist literature is not only about telling women's stories, it's about challenging norms, shaping culture, and creating space for change. So, to conclude, feminist perspective in modern literature remind us that the power of and the power of stories to confront inequality, empower marginalized voices, and inspire social transformation. So, alongside these literary movements like postmodernism, magical realism, and more, the feminist literature adds another vital layer to how we understand the modern world. And when we pair this with the power of translation, these important messages can reach hearts and minds across cultures and continents. So in this slide, we highlight some of the most impactful and thought-provoking literary works of the modern era. So these books have not only gained a critical acclaim but also sparked conversations about identity, society, and human experience. So let's begin with the beloved 1987 by Toni Morrison. So this novel explores the horrors of slavery and the power of memory. It's a haunting story of a mother's love and trauma. So next is The Handmaid's Tale, 1985 by Margaret Atwood. So set in a dystopian society, so it serves as a chilling warning about auto- authoritarian authoritarianism and the oppression of women. So then we have The Life of Pi, 2001 by Jan Martel, a story of survival and fate following a boy stranded at sea with Bengal tiger. So it is both about philosophical and imaginative. And The Road, 2006 by Cormac McCarthy is a bleak but powerful tale of a father and a son journeying through a post-apocalyptic world. So it explores themes of love, hope, and resilience. And finally, A Little Life, 2015 by Hanya Yanagihara. So it is a deeply emotional novel that delves into trauma, friendship, and the lasting effects of abuse. So it is very intense, heartbreaking, and unforgettable. As we move further in the digital age, literature has evolved beyond traditional print. So one of the most exciting developments is the emergence of digital and online literature. We now see the rise of web novels, fan fictions, and ebooks offering new ways for writers and readers to connect. So these formats are more accessible, especially to the younger audience, and allow more for more diverse storytelling. So the power of social media um in popularizing this literature. So it really plays a huge role in shaping the reading trends. So platforms like BookTok and Wattpad have become a major hubs for discovering stories. A simple recommendation on TikTok can turn an unknown book into a bestseller overnight. So this trend also empowers independent authors who can now publish and promote their work without relying on traditional publishers. So in interactive and hypertext literature. So another interesting innovation is the interactive and hypertext literature. This work allow readers to choose their own path, explore multiple storylines, or engage with multimedia elements like the audio, video, or even the animation. So it transforms reading from a passive activity into an interactive experiences, blurring the line between reader and the creator. So the digital and online literature is revolutionizing the way we read, write, and share stories. It opened doors for more voices to be heard and make literature a living, involving part of our everyday digital lives. Now let us explore a powerful and expressive form of modern literature. It is the contemporary poetry and spoken word. So in recent years, we have witnessed the revival of poetry not just in written form but through spoken word and the performance. So this dynamic presentation allow poets to connect with audiences and in real time, adding emotion, rhythm, and physical presence to their words. So the spoken word poetry has become a tool for self-expression and activism. It is accessible, emotionally powerful, and often performed in public spaces, classrooms, or viral videos online. So, the K poets and team contemporary poets like the Warsan Shar, Rupi Kaur, and Amanda Garment. So in Warsan Shar, who blends personal narrative with themes of identity, migration, and womanhood, while the Rupi Kaur she is known for her minimalist yet deeply emotional poems on love, trauma, and healing. while Amanda Gorman, whose poetry brings together themes of hope, justice, and national healing, as seen in her performance at the U.S. presidential inauguration. So this poet speaks to the realities of our time, making poetry more relevant, more diverse, and more empowering than ever before. So the role of poetry in protest movements. So in poetry in protest movement, it is beyond individual expressions. So the poetry has played a very crucial role in protest movements, whether it is chanted on the street, written on poster, or shared across social media. So the poetry gives voice to collective struggles and dreams for change. It becomes a way to mobilize, educate, and resist, echoing the voice of the marginalized and turning pain into power. So contemporary poetry, spoken word, remind us that literature isn't just about books, it is about the voices that challenge, inspire, and unite us, especially in time when the world needs it the most. To wrap up, modern world literature is more than just stories. It is a reflection of our world today. It gives voice to real experiences, diverse cultures, and urgent issues. From novels that challenge society to spoken word poetry that moves us, literature continues to evolve. So thanks to digital platforms like the Wattpad and BookTok, new writers are being discovered and more readers are getting access to global stories. And of course, there are still challenges like the censorship, cultural debates, and the limited reach of translated works. But the future is very exciting. We are seeing the rise of AI generated literature, more recognition of indigenous voice, and powerful stories about the environment through eco literature. So the modern literature is alive, growing, and ready for what is next.